The stars burned cold outside the glass walls of the warship. The vessel shook, its metal bones screaming as another blast struck its hull. Red lights flashed along the corridors. Smoke hissed from broken pipes. Sirens wailed like the cries of dying beasts. The war had reached this ship. And inside, chaos ruled. Crew members ran, shouting orders, trying to seal broken doors. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The deck trembled again, throwing soldiers against walls. It was no longer a safe place. It was a coffin drifting in space. In the middle of this storm was a young alien diplomat. She had never seen real war before. Her kind lived in high towers, speaking of peace and trade. But today she was trapped among fire and death. Her long robe was torn, her eyes wide with fear. She stumbled through the corridor, clutching the side panels, searching for safety. A voice shouted over the ship's speaker, "Hull breach on level. 4, all hands evacuate. Repeat, evacuate." But the escape doors were sealed. The diplomat gasped as another explosion ripped through the deck ahead. The force threw her to the ground. The air grew hot, filled with smoke and burning wires. She coughed, tears stinging her eyes. The corridor ahead was blocked by fire. Behind her, the path was already destroyed. She was trapped. For a moment, she thought this was the end. She whispered a small prayer to her ancestors, closing her eyes. The ship roared like a dying beast, and the flames rushed closer. But then, she saw him. A human soldier. He was not supposed to be here. His squad had been ordered to guard another sector, but somehow he had fought his way to this corridor. His armor was scorched, his helmet cracked, but his eyes burned with sharp focus. He moved through the smoke like a shadow made of fire. The diplomat's voice trembled. "Help me." He didn't answer. He only moved faster. The flames grew, wild, swallowing the corridor. A fuel tank ruptured with a sharp hiss, glowing with deadly energy. In seconds, it would explode. The diplomat froze. Her legs refused to move. She knew she could not escape. But the human did not stop. He sprinted toward her, boots crashing against the metal floor. His breath came hard, his body broken but unyielding. In that moment, he was not just a soldier. He was a wall between death and life. The fuel tank ignited. A fireball roared through the corridor, brighter than the sun. The diplomat screamed. The heat tore through the air. And then, he reached her. The soldier leapt forward, wrapping his body around hers. His arms locked. Like iron shields, his back faced the blast. His chest covered her fragile frame, and then came the explosion. The fire struck him with the force of a collapsing star. His armor shattered. His body burned. The shockwave ripped through his bones. Pain screamed through every nerve. Yet he did not let go. His only thought was this: she must live. The diplomat felt the world vanish in light and sound. She expected death, but instead, warmth. The human's body shielded her, even as the blast consumed him. Then darkness. The ship's alarms faded. The corridor became silent except for the soft hiss of cooling metal. The flames dimmed, leaving only smoke and ash. The diplomat opened her eyes slowly. She was alive. The human's body lay over hers, still and broken. She tried to move, but he was heavy, his armor cracked and glowing faintly. Her heart broke. She whispered, "No, not you." She pushed at his chest weakly, but his body did not move. His helmet slid to the floor, revealing his face, burned, scarred, but strangely peaceful. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She realized what had happened. He had given everything, his strength, his future, his life for her. A stranger, a human. She clutched his lifeless hand, whispering, "Why would you do this?" There was no answer. The warship groaned once more, drifting through the endless dark. And there, in that ruined corridor, an alien diplomat wept over the body of a man who should have been her enemy, but instead became her savior. The galaxy would remember this moment. But the story was not over. For the human sacrifice was only the beginning. Somewhere deep inside his broken body, something stirred, something the galaxy had not seen in thousands of years, a spark that would soon change everything. And as the screen fades to black, the narrator's voice echoes. For a long time there was only silence. The human floated in darkness. He thought. He was gone, broken, lost to the fire. He remembered the heat, the pain, and the way his body had turned to ash. He remembered the diplomat's eyes, wide with fear, and how he had promised, without words, that she would live. Then there was nothing, but slowly he felt something strange, a pulse, a breath that was not his own. The darkness began to crack. Light seeped in, cold and white, like the first rays of dawn after a long night. His chest moved, his heart still beating. The human opened his eyes. Above him was no smoke, no fire. Instead, a smooth ceiling glowed with soft light. The air was crisp and clean, not filled with ash. He was lying on a hard surface, his armor gone. He touched his chest, expecting wounds, but there were none, not even scars. His voice came out dry, broken. Where am I? He sat up slowly. The room around him was a chamber unlike any ship he had known. Walls of pale silver curved upward, etched with glowing lines that pulsed like veins. Strange machines floated in the air, turning silently. They looked alive, as if they were watching him. The human swung his legs over the side of the platform. His boots touched the floor. It was smooth, polished, colder than ice. He shivered. He remembered the explosion. He remembered dying. And yet, he was here, breathing, whole. A sound echoed, a soft hum like whispers in the distance. He turned quickly, his soldier instincts sharp. Shapes were moving in the light beyond the chamber. Tall figures with long arms, faces hidden by shadow. Their voices carried like wind through hollow stone. He tensed, ready to fight. But his body felt different, stronger. His senses were sharper, like every detail was louder and brighter than before. He could hear the faint hum of the machines, the rhythm of his own heartbeat, even the breath of the figures in the distance. One of the tall beings stepped forward. Its form shimmered, cloaked in light. Its eyes glowed pale blue. When it spoke, its voice carried a weight older than mountains. "You should not be here," the human frowned. "I should be dead." "Yes," the being said calmly. "And yet, you are not." Another figure joined, placing long hands together as though in prayer. "The explosion should have erased you, but instead, it awakened something. Something we have not seen in this galaxy for thousands of years." The human's fists clenched. "Where is she? The diplomat. The one I saved. Did she survive?" The beings were silent. Their glowing eyes shifted to one another. The answer did not come. His chest tightened. Anger rose like fire. "Tell me." The first being tilted its head. "You still think as a soldier. You still think this is about one life. But the truth is larger. You are no longer just a man. You are an echo of a power lost to history, a power feared by empires, a power that once broke stars." The human shook his head. "I don't understand. I'm just a soldier." "No," the being whispered, stepping closer. "You are more. The blast that should have destroyed you, it fused with you. It burned into your cells, your blood, your mind. You are the impossible one, the survivor of the unsurvivable." The chamber trembled as the words hung in the air. The human looked down at his hands. They were steady, but he could feel it, something burning inside him, quiet but endless, like a star sealed within his chest. His skin prickled with strange energy. He whispered, almost afraid, "What am I now?" The beings did not answer. Instead, the walls around them shifted, peeling open to reveal a window into the void of space. Stars stretched across the darkness. But this was not the war front he remembered. This was different, distant. The galaxies here shimmered in strange colors, spirals twisting unnaturally. The human realized with dread, this was not his reality. The being's voice returned, deep and final. You have crossed a boundary. You have awoken in a place where the galaxy waits and watches. They already know of you, they already fear you, and soon they will come. The human's breath caught, alone, far from everything he knew, with power he never asked for. He stood before a galaxy that no longer felt familiar. And in that moment, he understood one thing. The explosion had not ended the war. It had only begun something greater. The chamber lights dimmed. The beings faded back into the glow, and the soldier, once just a man, clenched his fists and whispered to himself, I have to find her. No matter what this place is, I will find her. But far beyond the silver walls, countless stars flickered, and in their light shadows moved, ancient, waiting, hungry. The human was alive. But so was something else. The chamber did not sleep. Its walls glowed with a heartbeat rhythm as though the room itself was alive. The human stood alone, his breath heavy, his mind racing. He had died, yet he lived. He had fallen, yet he stood. The voices of the glowing being still echoed in his ears. You are the impossible one. He wanted answers. He wanted the diplomat safe. He wanted his life back. But instead, he had only questions, and a galaxy watching from the shadows. The silence broke when the wall split open with a hiss. Figures entered. Not the glowing beings this time, but real creatures of flesh and bone. Aliens of many kinds, some tall and scaled, some cloaked in feathers, some with skin like metal. Their eyes locked on the human with awe, suspicion, and fear. They walked slowly, forming a half circle around him. One stepped forward. She was tall, dressed in armor made of dark crystal. Her voice was sharp, commanding. So, it is true. A human has survived the impossible. The soldier's hand instinctively reached for a weapon, but there was none. His armor was gone. He was bare, vulnerable, though strangely stronger than he had ever felt. His voice came low, steady. Who are you? The armored alien ignored the question. Instead, she raised a device scanning his body. The machine pulsed and her eyes widened. It is within him. The blast fused to his cells. His blood carries the fracture energy. The others murmured. Some stepped back, afraid. The human frowned. Fracture? Energy? What are you talking about? An elder alien, his skin like pale stone, leaned on a staff. His voice was deep, heavy with memory. Long before your kind walked the stars, there was a war unlike any other. Not of ships or guns, but of power. A force born from broken stars. The fracture. It could tear space, bend time, burn worlds to ash. The human's chest tightened. He whispered, and now, it's inside me. The elder nodded slowly. Yes, but no being has ever survived contact with it. Until you. The words hit like another explosion. He had carried the blast, shielded the diplomat, died, and yet here he was, alive with something ancient coursing through him. The armored alien spoke again, her tone sharp. Do not think this is a gift. The fracture is not life, it is destruction. Entire civilizations once rose and fell because of it. If you cannot control it, you will tear this galaxy apart. The crowd's eyes glowed with fear. Some whispered prayers, others looked ready to draw weapons. The human clenched his fists. Energy tingled under his skin like lightning waiting to strike. He could feel it now, faint but restless, as if the fracture itself was alive inside him. He growled, I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose it. I just wanted to save her. A silence followed. Then, from the back of the chamber, a new voice spoke. Calm, steady. She is alive. The soldier's heart stopped. He turned sharply. Out of the shadows stepped the young alien diplomat. Her robes were torn, but her eyes burned with determination. Guards surrounded her, but she held her head high. The human's chest flooded with relief. You survived. She nodded, her voice soft. Because of you. You gave everything, but your sacrifice, it has changed more than either of us. The armored alien raised a hand, silencing the room. The diplomat lives, yes, but she has seen what happened. She knows what you are now, and the galaxy will soon know as well. Some will want to worship you, others will want to kill you, and many will want to use you. The diplomat's voice cut through the tension. Then he must decide what he is, a weapon or a protector. The human met her eyes. In them, he saw both gratitude and fear. She was alive, but now her survival carried a price heavier than death. The elder alien tapped his staff. Your existence has already shaken the balance. The galaxy's great councils will not ignore you. The ancient enemies who once feared the fracture will sense its return, and they will come. The chamber trembled slightly as though the stars themselves agreed. The human's jaw tightened. He looked at his hands again, ordinary flesh yet pulsing faintly with hidden fire. He whispered to himself, "What am I supposed to do?" The elder's answer was quiet, almost sorrowful. Live, and the galaxy will change. Die, and the galaxy will burn. The room fell silent again. Every alien eye was fixed on him, waiting, judging, fearing. The soldier, who once had been nothing more than a man protecting one diplomat, now stood at the center of a truth larger than he could bear. He was no longer just a survivor. He was the fracture reborn. And somewhere beyond the stars, unseen by any in the chamber, ancient shadows stirred awake, whispering in hunger, because the impossible had happened. And the galaxy was about to pay the price. The chamber grew still after the elder's words. Every eye remained fixed on the human, as if he carried not only the fracture inside his veins, but also the weight of every fate tied to it. The soldier stood silent, his fists tight. He had been trained to fight battles, to follow orders, to protect his squad. But this was something beyond war. He was no longer fighting for one mission. He was standing at the center of a galaxy's fear. The alien diplomat broke the silence. Her voice was gentle but steady. Tell him the truth. Stop hiding it with riddles. The elder closed his stone-like eyes. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then his staff struck the floor with a low echo. The wall shifted again. Panels opened, revealing vast holographic images that filled the chamber. The human's breath caught. The images were not drawings or stories. They were memories, captured from ages past. He saw worlds burning, stars collapsing into themselves, their light ripped away, armies of ships torn apart by invisible forces crumbling like paper, and in the center of it all, beings made of fire and shadow wielding the fracture as a weapon. Their very presence twisted space. Their voices thundered like storms. The elder spoke, his voice heavy with sorrow. Long ago, before your species first looked at the night sky, the galaxy was ruled by those who mastered the fracture. They bent stars to their will, destroyed fleets with a breath, and thought themselves eternal. But the fracture was never theirs to control. It consumed them, turned them against each other, and in their hunger, they tore the galaxy apart. The soldier's eyes narrowed. And you think I am one of them? No, the elder said, shaking his head. They are gone. Their empires turned to dust. But the fracture lived on, hidden in the scars of space, waiting. No one has ever survived its touch, until you. The hologram shifted again. This time, they showed a human figure, his figure, standing at the center of burning stars, light pouring from his body. Armies bowed before him, while others fled in terror. It was a vision, not of the past, but of a possible future. The soldier clenched his jaw. That's not me. I'm not a god. I'm not a destroyer. I'm just a man who made a choice. The armored alien from before stepped closer, her crystal armor shining cold. You misunderstand. It does not matter what you believe. To the galaxy, you are no longer human. You are a symbol, a weapon, a prophecy reborn. Murmurs spread through the aliens in the chamber. Some bowed, as though in reverence. Others spat, their faces twisted with disgust. The diplomat looked at the soldier with soft eyes. This is why they fear you. Because you survived what no one else could. To them that means destiny. But only you can decide if that destiny is real. The soldier's chest felt heavy. He had carried wounded men from battlefields, seen comrades fall in fire. He had known sacrifice. But now he carried something he had never asked for, something that made him more than human in their eyes. His voice came out low, almost to himself. What if I can't control it? The elder's answer was grim. Then you will not be the first to fall. But you will be the last. Because when the fracture consumes, nothing survives. The soldier's hand trembled. He could feel it, the strange heat inside him, restless, waiting. It was like holding back a storm with bare hands. The diplomat stepped forward, ignoring the guards around her. Her voice was clear, strong. He saved me because he chose to. Not because of fate, not because of power. Because he was human. That is what makes him different. The ancient ones were consumed because they had no limit, no compassion. But he has both. Her words silenced the chamber. The soldier met her gaze, and for the first time since he awoke, he felt something steady. She believed in him. Not as a god, not as a weapon, as a man who made a choice. But before he could speak, the chamber shook violently. The walls quivered, alarms flared, and the holograms shattered into static. A guard rushed in, his scaled face pale with fear. Council, a signal has been detected, broadcast across half the quadrant. The elder turned sharply. What signal? The guard swallowed. The fracture. It has awakened. Every empire, every warlord, every ancient watcher, they all know. The room froze. The armored alien's voice was like a blade. You see? This is the truth. His survival was not an accident. It was a signal. And now, the galaxy comes for him. The soldier's blood ran cold. He had saved one life. He had woken, in a new reality. But now his existence had become a beacon, calling to enemies he had never known. The diplomat whispered almost to herself. He didn't just survive the impossible, he announced it to the stars. The chamber's lights flickered, as if the galaxy itself had heard, and far away in the deep black between suns, ancient eyes opened. The chamber still shook from the news. The soldier stood in the middle, every alien eye burning into him, as though he had become both a prize and a curse. The signal had gone out. Now, the galaxy knew. He did not speak. He only listened, his jaw locked tight while the chamber dissolved into chaos. Some of the council shouted for his death. Destroy him before others come. He is too dangerous. Others argued fiercely. No, keep him alive. He is power. He could defend us. He could end wars we cannot win. Voices clashed like blades. Fear filled the air heavier than smoke. The diplomat stepped between them, her slender frame shaking but her voice strong. Stop this. He is not a weapon. He is not your slave. But her words were drowned in the storm of voices. The soldier's fists clenched. He hated politics. He hated being trapped in words when action was needed. Yet here, he was the center of their argument, a symbol to be claimed or destroyed. Finally, the armored alien raised her hand. Her voice cut through the noise like a blade. Enough. The signal has already spread. Armies will come for him. Empires will rise or fall because of him. We cannot debate forever. We must decide now. Do we control him or end him? The diplomat spun toward her, fury in her eyes. Control? End? He is a man. He chose to save me. He chose to give his life. That is who he is. The armored alien sneered. And that is the problem, his humanity. The fracture inside him will not care about his choices. When it grows, when it breaks free, he will be the end of us all. The chamber fell silent. The soldier finally spoke, his voice low, rough. You talk like I'm not standing here, like I'm just a weapon waiting to explode. But I'm still me. I'm still human. The elder tapped his staff against the floor, eyes heavy with wisdom. Perhaps and for now, but power changes all things. Even the strongest will can crack. The soldier's temper flared. His voice rose. Then let me prove it. Don't cage me. Don't kill me. Let me show you I can control this. That I can use it to protect, not destroy, the council muttered. Some seemed convinced. Others shook their heads. But before another word could be spoken, the alarms screamed again. The chamber doors burst open. A guard staggered in, his armor scorched, blood trailing from his chest. They've come, he gasped. A fleet has entered orbit. Mercenaries flying under no flag. They say they've come for the human. The room froze. The armored alien turned sharply, her eyes like cold fire. Already? So fast? The elder's voice dropped. The signal was too loud. Of course they came, and more will follow. The soldier's heart pounded. He could almost feel the fracture inside him respond, a heat rising in his veins, restless and eager. He clenched his fists, trying to push it down. He whispered to himself, "Not now. Not yet." The diplomat reached for him, her hand trembling. "They will try to take you, to chain you, or to tear you apart." The soldier looked at her, then at the council. Then let them come. The chamber filled with uneasy silence. The armored alien stepped forward. "You cannot fight an entire fleet. Not yet. You do not even know what you are." The soldier met her gaze, steady and hard. "I know enough. I know I won't run. I know I won't be used. And I know I will not let anyone hurt her again." He gestured to the diplomat. The council erupted. Again. Shouts, warnings, fear. But above it all, the elder's voice thundered, "Then the test comes sooner than we dreamed. If he can survive this, perhaps he can survive the galaxy itself." The soldier turned toward the doors. The alarms still wailed, the floor vibrating with the tremor of weapons fire outside. He could see it now. This was no longer just politics. This was war, and he was the spark. The diplomat caught his arm, her eyes fierce. "Promise me something." "What?" he asked. "Promise me you'll stay you, no matter what this power tries to make you into. Promise me you'll stay human." He paused, her words cutting deeper than any blade. Finally, he nodded once. "I promise." But deep inside, the fracture stirred again, whispering like fire in the veins of a dying star. And as the mercenary fleet closed around the planet, the galaxy watched. Some prayed, some cheered, some sharpened their blades, for the first battle of the impossible human had begun. The alarms still echoed through the chamber. Outside, the mercenary fleet tightened its grip around the planet, ships dark and sharp against the stars. Inside, the human stood silent, his promise to the diplomat heavy on his tongue, while the council whispered in fear. He felt the fracture stir again in his veins, restless like a storm waiting to break free. He pressed his fists together, trying to hold it back. He could not lose himself. Not now. The armored alien was the first to speak. "They will land soon. Thousands of mercenaries. They want you alive if they can manage it. But if not, they will take your body. Either way, you cannot stay here," the diplomat snapped, her voice filled with fire. "You cannot just give him to them. He is not your property." The elder lifted his staff slowly. "No one here owns him, but we must face what this means. If he stays, this city will burn. If he leaves, he becomes a hunted shadow across the stars. The choice is his." The chamber fell silent. Every gaze turned to the soldier. He closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered the explosion, the fire, the pain. He remembered dying. And he remembered her, the diplomat, alive because of his choice. That was the only thing that mattered then. And maybe now too. He opened his eyes. "If I run, they'll keep chasing me. If I stay, they'll destroy this world just to get me. Either way, someone pays the price." The diplomat stepped closer, her voice soft now. There is another way. We can escape. Together. There are hidden ships, secret routes. I know them. We could leave this place before they break through. He looked at her. She meant it. She wanted him free, not for the council, not for power, but because she still believed in him. But the armored alien barked. Escape and lead the hunters across the galaxy? Every star he passes will suffer. No, he must fight them here. If he truly carries the fracture, let him use it now. Prove if he is weapon or man. The soldier's chest tightened. Two paths pulled at him. Run. With her. Stay human. Protect her. But doom countless others as the mercenaries hunted them across the stars. Or fight. Stay here. Unleash the fracture. Risk losing himself, but maybe protect the galaxy from this storm. His voice came low, steady. You're asking me to choose between myself and everything else. The elder's eyes were sad, heavy with centuries. Yes. That is the curse of those touched by power. Choice is your greatest weapon and your heaviest chain. The diplomat grabbed his hand, her fingers trembling. Don't let them turn you into their tool. Don't let this galaxy decide who you are. Decide for yourself. If you fight, fight because you choose to. If you run, run because you choose to. But stay, you. Her words struck deep. He felt her hand against his, warm and fragile. In his other hand, he could feel the fracture burn, hot and endless, begging to be released. Two forces, two lives, two futures. The armored alien stepped closer, her eyes like shards of ice. So what will it be, human? Hide in the dark with your pet diplomat? Or stand and fight as the galaxy's new god? The soldier's jaw tightened. His voice came out like iron. I am no god. And I am no one's weapon. He turned to the diplomat. If I leave, they will never stop. If I fight, I may lose myself. But if I do nothing, you will die. And so will everyone here. I can't let that happen. She shook her head, tears burning her eyes. If you fight, you'll burn. You'll give yourself away to the fracture, and I'll lose you. He cupped her hand gently, his voice softer now. You already know me. Even if I burn, I'll still be me. The chamber doors shook. Explosions thundered outside. The mercenaries were breaching the defenses. Time was ending. The elder lifted his staff one final time. The moment is here. Choose, soldier. Run or fight. Man or weapon. Humanity or fracture. Choose. The soldier closed his eyes. He saw the fire again. He saw her face. He saw the galaxy burning, waiting, watching, and when his eyes opened, they burned with something new. Not fear, not doubt, but resolve. I choose, he said, his voice echoing across the chamber. The fracture stirred inside him, glowing faintly under his skin. The diplomat clutched his arm, whispering, Please, don't lose yourself. Outside, the mercenary fleet began its descent and the galaxy held its breath. The soldier's words still echoed in the chamber. I choose. But he did not say what he chose. The council leaned forward, waiting. The diplomat held his arm, her eyes wet with fear. The armored alien's gaze burned like a blade, eager to see what path he would take. Then the alarm screamed louder, shaking the walls. The mercenary fleet had broken through. The ground rumbled with the thunder of landing craft. Explosions lit the sky outside the city. There was no more time for speeches. The chamber doors burst open, and guards rushed in, shouting, They've landed, mercenaries in the lower sectors. They are moving toward us. The soldier stepped forward. His fists glowed faintly, a quiet fire under his skin. Then my choice is made. I won't run, and I won't be chained. I'll fight. The armored alien smirked coldly. Good. Then let us see if you are savior or doom. The diplomat grabbed his arm tighter. Just promise me, you'll come back. He looked at her, steady. I'll come back, even if I have to crawl through fire again. The chamber shook harder. Screams echoed from the city below. The mercenaries were spreading fast. He turned toward the door, his jaw set. The council shouted warnings, but he ignored them. He was a soldier. He had made his choice. Now he would act. The city outside was chaos. Towers of glass and metal burned, their spires collapsing in showers of sparks. Streets filled with terrified civilians, running as mercenaries in black armor, fired down from dropships. The air itself roared with the thunder of engines. And then, they saw him. The human stepped into the open, his figure small against the burning skyline, but every eye turned to him. The mercenaries shouted, weapons raised. They wanted him alive, but they did not care how broken he was when they dragged him away. The soldier's breath came slow. He could feel the fracture again, alive under his skin. The heat pushed at his bones, begging to be released. He whispered to himself, stay in control. Stay human. Blaster fire rained down, and then he moved. He was faster than he had ever been. His body surged with impossible strength. He dodged fire, ripped weapons from enemy hands, struck with fists that shattered armor. Every mercenary who came close was thrown back like a toy in the hands of a giant, but with every strike the fracture stirred louder, hungrier. His veins glowed faint blue beneath his skin. His eyes flickered with light. Civilians watched with awe and terror. He was no longer just a man, he was becoming something more. The diplomat's voice rang out from the council tower above. Stay you! Don't lose yourself! Her voice pulled him back, just enough. He forced the fracture down, forced himself to fight as a soldier, not a weapon. But it was hard. So hard. Then the ground shook. From the largest mercenary dropship, something massive stepped out. A war machine, 3 times his height, armored in steel and fire. Its eyes glowed red, its arms armed with cannons. The mercenaries cheered. The machine's voice boomed across the city. Surrender the human, or be erased. The soldier stood tall, his fists glowing faintly. You'll have to erase me first. The machine raised its cannon. The city held its breath. The shot fired. Blazing energy, brighter than a star, rushing straight toward him. For a moment, time slowed. The soldier thought of the diplomat, of her eyes when he saved her, of her voice begging him not to lose himself, of the promise he made. Then he moved. The fracture inside him burst. Light poured from his body, brighter than the cannon's fire. His hands caught the blast and stopped it. The city gasped. The mercenaries froze. The machine staggered, but the soldier was screaming. The fracture burned through him like fire through dry wood. He forced it down, pushed it back, but it fought him, tearing at his soul. His body glowed with cracks of light, as though he was breaking apart from within. Still, he held. Still, he pushed the cannon's blast away, bending it, twisting it, and finally, sending it back. The war machine exploded, fire ripping through the mercenary lines. The city shook, towers falling. Silence fell. Every eye stared at the human standing alone in the ashes, his body glowing faintly with impossible power. The diplomat whispered from above, her voice trembling. He did it. But the elder's voice followed, heavy with dread. No, it is only beginning. That was the first test. Now, the galaxy has seen, and the ones who truly hunger will come. The soldier fell to his knees, gasping, the fracture dimming inside him for now. The diplomat rushed down to him, catching him before he collapsed fully. You're still you, she whispered, holding his face. He nodded weakly. For now. Above them, the night sky split with new fire. More fleets arriving. Bigger than mercenaries. Older. Stronger. The council stared upward in horror. The elder whispered, almost to himself, the true war has awoken. The screen fades to black, and the narrator's voice echoes,